Yo guys, what is up? Jonas here, and in today's video we're gonna talk about the top 9 features that gamers expect on the PS5 or the top 5 or 10 features that should be coming to the PS5. And we're gonna start it off with the small chart that said that's going to announce the different categories that we're going to talk about, starting with backwards compatibility, graphic processing power, games, processing power, this time we're talking about CPU not GPU, hard drive space and speed, VR experience, console design, Blu-ray DVD, and finally controller design. So this is basically like a poll did on a website. I'm gonna leave a link to the website where the poll was taken, and then we're gonna talk about each and every feature and what the fans mainly wanted and the functions or the new features that should be actually be integrated into the PS5. And because they are like it's a very next gen console, which is even more next gen than the PS4, if you understand what I mean. So more adaptability to everything concerning performance, graphics, and CPU, GPU, whatever. Everything has advanced in technology since the PS4 and PS4 Pro was released. So it's time for the PS5 to go ahead and affirm itself. And we're gonna start it off with the first category, which is backwards compatibility. The backwards compatibility option got most of the votes, and it says that backwards compatibility won the top spot in a world where Microsoft is touting backwards compatibility on their new Xbox project. The pressure is on for Sony to match that with the PS5. Of course, when we talk about backwards compatibility, we have to consider how far back we want. PlayStation has a lot of classic titles from PS1 to 3 and 4, and the PS4 has already racked up several titles that will no doubt be remembered fondly by history. So this is kind of the thing that they are saying for the backward compatibility. Now, what I do believe concerning this category is that everybody basically has a PS4 and got games on it, and for the games to be for the PS5 to be backward compatible, for people like everybody has PS4 and everybody bought a lot of games on it. So the people that are going to switch to PS5 are like the majority already are PS4 players, so it would be a great advantage for them to be able to play their games that they already have on their PS4 on their PS5. So this is why the first feature is very important. Now the second one concerns the GPU and the graphic processing power, and this says that the graphics are major point of discussion. After all, power is the selling of point of any next generation system. How much better will make games look and how to play on this system. And so in this paragraph, they're like talking about something that says that that's the equivalent of today's top shelf video cards on PC with another few years, and that tech could reasonably find its way to consoles. And in this paragraph or in this sentence particularly, they're referring to a PS5 with 10 teraflops of power, which is like the PS5 should be able to process games like any regular PC. So we should definitely expect better game performance, higher frame per second, and especially it might be able even to support 4K. So we're talking also about textures, lighting effects, anti-aliasing, 10 teraflops, and it might be like between 8 to 10, but it's going to definitely be an improvement. Now the third thing concerns games, and and after graphics, the most voted thing was games, and why? Because the feature is something that Sony has been bringing since the launch of PS4. New exclusives like Horizon Zero Dawn, Neo, and Persona 5 are just some of the many titles that Sony secured on their platform. With powerhouse develops like Guerrilla Games, Naughty Dog, and Sucker Puncher, Sony has no problem with their lineup, if anything. And if the launch title will require special attention, coming out with the game strong is important, and that's what I believe gamers want to see with specific feature. So this is also again talking about exclusive games to PS5. Fourth thing is processing power. Processing powers is the CPU compared to the GPU, and the processing powers like is also a very a good advantage and will aid the GPU at the same time, because this gets lumped in with the graphics, and but they're like two different things. The graphics processing handles the way the game looks and the resolution. The CPU and the RAM are the ones who put it into motion and calculate all those mathematical equations to make the game run. So in a like conclusion, Upgrading both the CPU and GPU will allow the game to run smoother, faster, on higher frames per second with better performance and less lagging overall. Now the fifth thing, which is a very important point, which is the hard drive space and speed. As you know, do you know the difference between HDD and SSD? And we all know that the PS4, some of us have a PS4 of 500 gigabytes, others have a PS4 Pro or PS4 of 1 terabyte. Right here, we're talking about increasing the the speed and the size of the hard drive, because we saw with the PS4 a lot of games went to more than 50 gigabytes. Like you have GTA 5, you have Call of Duty, you have many game titles that take more than 50 gigabytes of space. So with the space required for the PS4 to perform and the space to add games, you could have like 7 games to 8 games, like good games downloaded on your console. But then if you want to add a new game, you'd have to either buy a new hard disk, change the one you already have, or delete older games. So this is why in the PS5 they're talking about adding like a 2 terabyte driver, which is twice the speed of the PS4 Pro, which is 1 terabyte, which is a 1 terabyte driver, and at the same time implementing an SSD, which will make everything run faster and better. Sixth thing, virtual reality and 4K. In this matter, I don't think that a lot of people use VR on PS4. Like, there's a lot of people who do, but most of them don't, especially because of the high price that it costs. But in any way, the virtual reality is still a toddler in the realm of technology, but still got votes in this poll, and it says that there's a lot of argument as to whether the VR will take off. But Sony has found the sweet spot this time. Bringing the Move controller back was a smart move, and incorporating the camera created a trifecta of peripherals that all suddenly found purpose. So right here we're talking about VR, which is one of those things that you won't believe until you try it, and Sony should win the VR war with their PlayStation VR headset and its successor on PS5. So we also have VR not only on PS4 Pro but also on PS5, and hopefully in an upgraded and better version. Now the seventh things talks about the console design, and the console design as in the model of the PS5, the way it looks, the color, the materials used, and everything. And right here we're talking about something that will help have it like a sexy looking system to your entertainment center. And the PS4 design was like pretty sleek, and the PS4 Pro was like it's like a Big Mac, we can say, because it has triple layer design. But on the PS5 we're still expecting an upgrade in the model. And this is basically what we're going to talk about: the console design. It should be something like a glossy finish, or that will give it like something new and like beautiful to the console. Now the eighth thing, I'm gonna switch it up for this time. We're gonna talk about the controller design, and designing a new controller for PS5 should be something nice. I'm gonna leave a picture if you're looking right here. This could be a potential design for the PlayStation 5 controller with a touch screen this time that could give you indications in game and stuff. And they might keep the basic layout or add something new, but we have to wait and see about that. And for the last feature, but definitely not the least, we're talking about everything concerning Blu-ray and disk drive. So, coming the last existence of Blu-ray or optical drive, this tied with controllers designed a number of votes. So this was an interesting development because it would have thought physical gamers, lovers would make their voices heard when PlayStation players were asked if they prefer digital versions or physical versions of PlayStation games. 60% voted for physical versions, so perhaps we're finally accepting a digital future for the games. And this is one features that should be coming, comparing with the ability to have digital version of games rather than physical version of games. But this one is also a feature that should be coming and should be developed, as well as developing Blu-ray and the disk drive. So this has been it, guys. The 9 expected things, or things that vote the most voted by fans, that should be coming to PS5. What do you think will be featured in the PlayStation 5, and what do you think will not? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Peace.